My dear brothers and sisters, Solomon stands before the temple he has built and says something interesting. He admits that even the highest heavens cannot contain God. This house of stone cannot hold him. And yet Solomon prays with confidence, "Let your name be there. As you hear us, forgive." So the temple is not about containing God, but about turning the heart toward Him. That is exactly what today's responsorial psalm reminds us. My soul is longing and yearning for the courts of the Lord. Not because the building is beautiful, but because the heart longs for the living God. This takes us forward to the Gospel, where Jesus exposes a dangerous mistake. The Pharisees are deeply religious, highly disciplined, and very careful about traditions. Yet, Jesus says their worship is empty. Why does He say that? Because their hearts are far from God. St. Augustine, commenting on this passage, says, "What God rejects is not the act, but the heart that hides behind the act." In other words, external religion can become a mask. We may look faithful while quietly avoiding love, mercy, and responsibility. Jesus gives one concrete example. The commandment to honor father and mother is set aside using religious language. Something is declared korban, dedicated to God, and suddenly love for parents is postponed or cancelled. Religion becomes an excuse to escape love. St. Jerome says, they pretend reverence for God in order to practice cruelty toward men. This sentence should make us pause. It still applies. Whenever faith makes us harder, colder, or less compassionate, something has gone wrong. Today we remember Saint Scholastica. She did not write treatises. She did not debate the law. Her holiness was simple, rooted in love. Tradition tells us that when her brother Saint Benedict wished to leave her early to keep monastic rule, she prayed. God answered with a storm, not to break obedience, but to teach that love fulfills the law. Saint Bede, commenting on this event, says, Scholastica prevailed not by authority, but by charity. Because God listens more readily to love than to discipline alone. My dear brothers and sisters, that is the key. God does not despise tradition. He despises tradition without love. He does not reject structure. He rejects structure that replaces mercy. The first reading reminds us that God's name dwells where forgiveness is sought. The Gospel reminds us that God's presence is lost where love is avoided. And Saint Scholastica shows us that a pure heart becomes a living temple. So the question today is not, am I religious? The real question is, does my faith make me more loving, more forgiving, more human? One day in God's courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere. But that court is not only structure. It begins wherever the heart bends toward God's will. May Saint Scholastica teach us this gentle but demanding truth. The purest worship is a heart that chooses love over excuse, mercy over comfort, and God's command over our convenient traditions. Amen.